Give me a kitten. Choice between a kitten or a baby. Kitten. Cat.
Good evening, everyone. Sorry. Before I hand over to the chair of tonight's meeting, I remind everyone here in the room we are now live streaming. We politely request that all participants wait until being invited to speak by the chair. If you wish to speak, please raise your hand. Once invited to speak, please preface your contribution by stating your name. This will help the mics lock in on the primary speaker and thereby maximise the sound quality for those watching at home. If you're watching at home and wish to participate in tonight's meeting, please turn your video on. If you are just observing, please turn your video off. Unless actively speaking, all those watching the meeting via Zoom should have their mics muted. Members of the public are reminded that public participation is for questions only. Comments, suggestions or representations may be made at the discretion of the chair of the meeting. In case of a fire evacuation, the fire point is the marketplace. For this evening, there will be no fire drills. I'll now hand you over to tonight's chair, Councillor Raby.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Tuesday, the 28th of January's Economic Development and Planning Committee meeting. May I have any apologies?
Councillor Ellis, who was substituted by Councillor Westbury.
Thank you very much. Item 2, any declarations of interest? No, fabulous, thank you. Item 3, public participation. Do we have anybody, our guests, who would like to speak to an item on the agenda?
I would like to speak.
Could you come up towards that microphone there? Just say your name, please, so that anybody watching online the recording can hear. That's great, thank you.
Mr. Pickett from 26 Woodstock Gardens. I'd like to speak about a planning application in connection with number 2 Sareham Avenue.
First one, I think.
First
Yeah.
one.
Yep, thank you. Yep, please. Go ahead.
Thank you.
You go ahead now, please, actually, Chris.
Oh, thank you.
We'll do public participation at the start and then we'll be moving on to applications. So
Thank you very much.
now, great.
Thank you. It will be brief,
Thank you.
I hope. With due respect to the chair and elected members, I wish to speak in respect of the application relating to number 2 Sareham Avenue. As an immediate neighbour to number 2 Sareham Avenue, Mr. Lammer, may I make the following statement of objection to the retrospective planning application, which may have been created by a contact with the planning enforcement at the council, who in turn visited the site. My objections are in 3 categories. Number 1, breach of permitted development rights in accordance with the Town and Country Planning Act, Permitted Development Order 2015 Class E. Number 2, development as submitted is not in accord with the Wiltshire Core Strategy Policy number 57. And number 3, the constant low noise of a pump is not in accord with the Environmental Protection Act 1990, Section 79, statutory nuisance. Regarding number 1, the structures were built prior to a visit from the Wiltshire Council Planning Department, and a third of the structure is in front of the principal elevation of the original dwelling house as defined in the Planning Act, which can be seen when looking at Google Maps. The submitted location plan is misleading. In addition to the structures, a pond has been developed which should comply with E1J of the permitted development order, namely not more than 3.5 litres in capacity. And has the planning department considered that part in their investigation? I do not know. Number 2, notwithstanding that Mr. Lammer has the right to the enjoyment of his dwelling house, any development within the curtilage must comply with the council's own local development plan, which is agreed in the core strategy policy. Then that any development is to be of a high standard, which is expected to create a strong sense of place through drawing on the local context and being complementary to the locality. The structure now developed are not incongruous in the street scene, to the detriment of the character and appearance of the area, and in short, not in accord with the core strategy policy 57.3. No other property within the south of Melksham has been developed in this manner. Though the applicant is maximising on the use of the plot, it does not take into account the wider character of the area as per policy 57.6. No consultation has been invited by Mr. Lammer, so no regard has been given to the compatibility of such structures with a neighbouring property, which is a residential bungalow. Therefore, the development's impact on the neighbouring property's amenity is that of overshadowing, loss of privacy, and vibration and noise, contrary to policy 57.7. Number 3, with regard to the Environmental Protection Act, section 79, a statutory nuisance, there are 3 elements. That any premises in such a state has to be prejudiced to the health or a nuisance. Noise emitting from premises so as to be prejudicial to health or nuisance. Noise that is prejudicial to health or nuisance and is emitted from or caused by vehicles, machinery or equipment in a street is contrary to the Act. It is beholden upon the local authority, which has a duty to cause its areas to be inspected from time to time, to detect any statutory nuisances, which ought to be dealt with under section 80 of the Act. As far as I'm aware, this has not been done. The noise is a 24-hour constant, low frequency that carries into the home of number 26 Woodstock Garden. During darkness, it is louder than daytime and can be heard from the highway. My submission, therefore, to this council is that such an unauthorised development will, if approved, set a serious precedence and have a serious impact on the residential enjoyment of all residential properties adjoining such sites. Thank you, councillors. Thank you, Chair.
Can I just ask one question? Do we know what the pump is actually?
It is a pump which has been installed for a carp pond.
And just trying to identify, because it keeps bringing back to number 3 here.
Just there.
Did that one there?
Where the big fence is, that's right.
That one there, brilliant.
If you go around to the right, carry on round to the right, that's good.
Yeah.
Keep on going and then go down Woodstock Garden.
Andrew, hang on a second, please.
It's on the left-hand side.
We'll come to it when we come to the application, but thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Come to Andrew when we actually come to that part of the agenda, if you don't mind. Okay, so moving on to item 4 then, which is to approve the minutes of the Devon Planning Committee meeting held on the 9th of January. All happy?
Yeah.
Do I have a proposer?
I'll propose.
Thank you. Phil, thank you. All in favour? Thank you. Andrew, take kind of any combination of.
Yeah.
On that. Thank you very much. Right, so moving on to item 5, which is planning considerations. Members to note that when responding to planning applications, joint consideration should be given to the Melksham Joint Neighbourhood Plan, the Wiltshire Core Strategy and the National Planning Policy Framework. And going on to our applications tonight, and starting with application 6.1, which is number 11307, which is for 2 Sarum Avenue. This is the small summer house shed with a covered area to the west side of said summer house and shed. Just to note, Councillor Hubbard has called this in. I'll just make that clear for the moment. Andrew, I think you had your hand up first.
Yes, this matter was brought to my attention on the 8th of November last year. I visited the property on the same day. I spoke to Mr. Lammers about the development that he was undertaking and wanted what appeared to be a breach of planning regulations to Wiltshire Council. Their enforcement team took action and requested a red flag be submitted, which was done at the end of December. As Mr. Pickett pointed earlier, although it doesn't actually say so within any of the application documents, this is a retrospective application. Unfortunately, despite the fact that it's retrospective, the block plan which was prepared at the end of December is inaccurate in its representation of the location and the size of the structure. and makes no reference at all to the fairly extensive carp pond which has been constructed. On the 8th of November, at Mr. Lammer's invitation, I viewed the pond, which had not then been filled with water, but I understand has subsequently. It is significantly larger than 3,500 litres in capacity. It's the summer house, as it's constructed, virtually fills and goes out almost to the northern fence of the property, and the outer limit of the developed summer house I think extends in front of the front line of the main building by about 2 metres. Yes, under the, maybe repeating myself, but the application makes no reference whatsoever to the excavation and reforming of the pond or of the pump mechanism that's associated with it. And there is a significant audible noise level and physical vibration through the ground and adjoining structures resulting from the pump. So on that basis, I believe that it would be appropriate for us to object to this application.
Thank you. Anybody else who wants to come in? Councillor Orford, Chris, I'll have to suspend standing orders. If I can just go through the room first, then I'll come back.
Is Councillor Hubbard calling it policy 57?
Hang on a second, let me just look at it. Yeah.
Doesn't state that it's policy 57. He said it
Cool,
was
thank you.
for, he said it was for a variety of reasons, actually. Such a fast. Sorry. The scale of development, visual impact, relationship to adjoining properties, and he says it's the environmental issues related to the pump noise, but he hasn't stated what
policy? I mean, it's not that I'm against Andrew's suggestion of objecting to it based on the noise and so on. I'm not sure that, I don't know what the technical policies are around the size of a pond and the noise levels, but I think it's fair, if it's noisy and unpleasant, there's no reason why we shouldn't object to it. But what I'm going to suggest is, can we add some sort of potential conditions onto it so that if the officer's minded to approve soundproofing or an appropriate recommendation on a pump to reduce the noise, be appropriate, and maybe some, I don't know what it looks like from, is your property? I don't know what it looks like from.
I'll suspend standing orders in a moment, so we can ask some questions.
I can see that, and I get that it's in front of the build line. However, the property's on an angle relative to the road. So again, I don't know quite how that affects the build line, because it's not directly in front of the property. So I'm happy to support you. I just wonder if we should try and add some conditions, because I really don't know what the technical policy requirements are going to be on this one.
I agree. Chris, I'll just go round the room and then I will suspend standing orders.
Yes, it might well be possible to take some sort of mitigation procedures against the noise and vibration levels. But the constructed building is higher than the fence that you can see on the screen there.
Yeah, it's 7 foot, isn't it?
Yeah, it's close to the maximum limit of the eaves height for a structure of that type. And it, as I said, it extends out almost as far as the fence. Certainly the forward corner of it will be in front of that telegraph pole that you can see in the picture on the screen. And there isn't any practical mitigation purposes, the steps that could be taken to.
No, I'm not sure the height.
No, not the shed.
Like this way.
the height of the sheds is gonna make, again, I don't know if if it's within the appropriate height for a shed.
Andrew, did you take any pictures by chance?
Yes.
Right,
Is there a way you can share it?
yeah, can we possibly, I think that would be helpful.
Yes, I'm not.
The property, right?
Fine.
That's why I was getting really.
Yeah, so on this side, it's coming in front of the development line because it's on a funny corner.
Actually, the applicant has included with the application
Three.
their own photographs of the
Going to-
the property, which clearly demonstrate that it is
Is that-
significantly in
Yeah,
front of
the view, the first one, view from the road, probably shows it better than.
Yeah, I've seen the view from the road. It's actually interesting, the view from Chris's
Yeah.
house, to see how it looked from your place,
Well, Chris's house is
the bungalow on the other side.
really.
Yeah, so I wondered if you had any photos. Have you got one that can have a look?
Okay.
That shows it's higher, but I'm not sure if that's.
Yeah,
The better or the
Yeah,
more
yeah.
appropriate view is from the right. I don't.
go for two.
Three, view from the road, three, probably.
I mean, looking at,
Yeah.
I'll share the photos that Chris has shared with me. And I've got the applications.
Thanks.
I don't think the height of the property,
No.
the build is going to be the issue.
No, I don't think so.
Noise is definitely a valid concern.
Yes.
And the vibration, I'm concerned, yeah, really concerned
But
about
as
the
you
noise.
can see from that photo.
Yeah.
Which, when the photo was taken, it was virtually lined up with the front line of the original
Yeah.
building. And it's a good 2 meters in front of that.
We go back to the first picture, please.
But it
Yeah,
is
yeah.
in their property, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, because it's not actually outside the fence line, is it?
No, I mean, it's in front of the build line of the bungalow.
Yeah,
It's in front of the build line of the house.
Yeah, yeah, it's at the corner of it. You can see it's clearly in front of the build line of the house, and then it's in front of the build line of the bungalow.
And the entire structure is in front of the build line of the neighbouring bungalow.
Yeah, I mean, it is a temporary structure. I mean, there are garages along there, aren't there? That are in front of people's dwellings. There are no garages or carports or anything along there.
All of them, most of the garages are.
it's on the side.
Not in that area.
Can you go to picture two? It's exactly what we haven't looked at. No, well, they're not going to be, are they?
No.
Why would you put a derogatory picture on your application? Yeah, it's just. And did you get anything looking onto the front of the house?
No, well, looking onto the front of the house, what do you mean, Stan? Sorry, Councillor.
Yeah. Onto their house, because I'm trying to establish
The only,
it's that corner, it's like this, isn't it, there?
the only photograph there is what councillor has just shown you, which is taken from the opposite side of the road. I've actually put a plan there, which is the block plan that was with the planning application, which you can obviously draw up yourself, which actually shows exactly how the actual structures have been situated in the plot, which is behind the fence. It is within the required 3 meters of the highway. It is 2.5 meters high, which is within the planning conditions of the permitted development rights. The only problem is its location, because it's in the front line of a third of the building is in front of the main part of the dwelling.
Okay, thank you.
Can I ask?
Yeah, go for it, Councillor Woolford.
Before we move, but with the pump that's currently within the building, if that building wasn't there, the pump would not cease to exist, would it? The pump would still be there, it would just be louder, right?
Pump needs to be there for the fish.
Yeah.
When
Building down, it'd still have the fish in the pump, the pond, wouldn't it?
The technically, planning permission should have been obtained for the pond because of the size of it, in accordance with E1.
Have you got the volume there? What is it relative to where it should be?
It's within the permitted development rules. So it falls outside of the permitted development regulations, and therefore should have been included within the planning application.
Oh, right, okay, so, but, I mean, the fact that it's retrospective for a pond that's too big isn't the issue. I mean, that's why he's applied, right, because the pond's too big.
But
And the permitted
was
development.
built. But doesn't feature on the application. So the application documents refer to the building itself. Summer house, as he terms it,
It doesn't include it.
but doesn't include the pond, which on its own would not be a permitted development
Maybe we should just draw the,
because of the size of it.
Yeah, but do we have any documentation or anything that tells us exactly what the size is? Because some of them can look bigger than they are because of the
Yeah,
surrounding.
I agree, actually, it's a really,
Because my mum has a pond that looks bigger than it actually is.
It's at least a metre deep and a metre wide and is at least 2 metres long.
I don't,
sound outrageous.
no, it doesn't. I'm knowing what some who do with ponds and stuff, that does not sound, I don't think that's the one that we've got here. I think Councillor Alford's right in talking about the noise disturbing from the pump. Yeah, I think that's the pieces that probably,
If this is
That's the
being
problem,
brought in,
isn't it?
that would be looked at.
Exactly, so, yeah.
They will have a look at the pond and say, well, actually,
it is or
that's
isn't.
actually out regulation.
Yeah.
There are easy ways to actually mitigate vibrations and
Yes.
noise from pumps as
Sure.
well.
Yeah.
You know,
Lots of
which I'm
installations.
quite surprised they've got one that big that they haven't looked into things like that.
Surely it's disturbing.
I agree
Yeah.
with Phil. Let's put conditions on it so
Yeah.
that way if they do approve it, we've got the conditions that say.
Yeah.
As
If you
Phil
want to approve, can you do, yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, we object, but if you are minded to approve, then we would
Yeah.
suggest that we would like to see mitigations put in place because from the noise of the pump.
yeah.
Can we ask as well that they do check the pond is within limits? Is that something we can stipulate as well?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Draw their attention to the pond, which
Yeah.
was no planning permission.
The officer that went noticed that.
Well, probably, possibly not, isn't it? Because the fact that the application has been put in for the summer house, is that person going to know that that pond had subsequently been built recently, or it could have been built ages ago?
Yeah.
That's obviously not what they went to look at. So I
It
think-
depends on whether they went in the house.
exactly. So I think it's more a case of we have to raise the point on the pond as being asking them to look at that as well, in view that we can't be sure that they know about it in the first place.
I'm just trying to find on the internet, Philip, what the dimensions for an acceptable garden.
I am.
When they talk about, you look thinking, okay, we need planning permission for a large pond, but then you've got great big excavators that are ripping up, 1/4 of an acre. We're not there.
As far as I can see, it's 20 metres in size or larger than 1 metre in depth.
Oh, so then it is
So
permissible.
I thought ponds permitted development.
Yes, I would suspect so too.
Unless it's somehow a very deep pond.
Well, it's only me.
Meter, Andrew was saying.
It's tough on.
Wow.
I mean,
Reading.
well, the reason that people build their ponds up is because
So
that
it's
allows,
dig a hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
but what I mean is that actually,
Yeah.
I mean, for a carp,
And then if it was bigger than 1 metre, it's.
I can't see.
have readings.
oh, sorry. I mean, carps are
They
big.
they are huge.
I wouldn't be surprised, it could be deeper than a metre, but I think that's something that we could just ask to be drawn to their attention. It
can't
might be
sit
that they
here
turn
and-
around and say, yeah, it's fine.
Hmm.
Okay, so are we happy with then going with Phil's proposal then with all the comments we've all put in to object, but if Wiltshire are so inclined to approve with those conditions, so the pond, the noise, and
Yeah.
obviously our concerns about is the development, has it been built in the right place?
Yeah, proximity to the boundary.
Yeah.
And the build line, which I think was actually Andrew's
Yeah.
proposal.
Let's go with Andrew's proposal, the amendments that Phil and everybody else has put into it. Are you happy with that, Andrew?
Yeah, mitigate, object, but if approved, like to mitigate the noise of the pump, we would like them to check the size and depth of the pond. That is, to ensure it's within permitted guidelines,
Yeah.
sizes, whatever.
Regulation.
Permitted development, sorry. And concerns about location, stroke, proximity to the boundary, build lines.
Okay.
Noise of the pump.
Brilliant. So Andrew's proposal, and can I have a seconder? Councillor Alford, all in favour? Thank you very much. Moving on to item 6.2, application 2025, application number 4. That's a good one. Yeah, please do. So this is for Berkeley House, Longleys Lanes, for a turkey oak to reduce the lowest branch to east over Cicely Gardens by 1 to 2 metres to good growth points as feasible. And I'm going to use my knowledge now for what a turkey oak is. Do you know where they come from? No, I found out first.
Yeah, but I know, but you told me, so I now.
Austrian, it's an Austrian oak. You go, see, that's my fact of the day. I had to look it up the other day. I was like, I've never heard of a turkey oak. There we go.
Propose.
Yeah, thank you. Seconder. Take whatever you like. All in favour?
House, isn't it?
Yes.
And it's a really unique build state. I don't know where you know it.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
So supporting or objecting?
Oh,
Supporting. Yeah.
But trees need looking after, so anything that goes, people trying to look after trees, I'm always for that.
Thank you,
Not just leave them to grow wild.
Thank you, Pat.
Yeah, back.
You can. Okay, back in the room. Item 6.3, application number 00079 or 79 Somerset Crescent. This is a proposed double-storey side extension and single-storey rear extension with internal ground floor alterations for disabled adaptation and associated works. I've had quite an in-depth look at it. There's only one comment from Highways, which was they had no issue with it, so that's the only thing. There's none of the neighbours have commented on it.
Other houses down there.
That's all from Pat.
No, yeah, it's saying.
So you're saying it.
I'm going to propose this.
Thank you. Yeah, I've got no objections to either. Second to them?
Yep.
Anybody like Charlie? All in favour? Thank you very much. Application number 11529, which is 11A Cannon Square. And this is for first floor and internal wall structural repairs, new ground floor structure to back room and other structural repairs.
Yeah.
Thank you, councillor Aves. I'll second it. All in favour? Thank you very much. Right, and then we move on to note the following planning decisions. So the land off Angelica Avenue for 11 units, that was approved. We supported 8.2, which was St Andrew's Vicarage, approved with conditions. We supported with some provisos. 8.3, which was the Shed Melksham Forest Community Centre, we supported, it was approved. 1063 12 Coronation Road, approved, we supported. 11022 14 Kenilworth Gardens. I don't have,
Yeah, sorry.
I think we supported that as well, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so that's all of our planning applications and decisions. Item 9, to receive and consider correspondence from Melksham without Parish Council. So can I ask, has everybody had a quick look through this as to do with the Sill Working Party? I do have some thoughts on this. I know that Tracy is keen for us perhaps to not have as many working parties. However, I think it is crucial on something like Sill that we work together with Melksham without Parish Council. I think that is the one working group that should stay in place. And personally, I want to see us have a much more collaborative relationship with Melksham without. So yes, I would like us to start getting these meetings arranged as soon as possible in the diary to get this moving forwards along with our colleagues at Melksham without Parish Council. Thank you, Councillor Aves. You're on it, aren't you? I can't remember who's part of the Sill Working.
It's councillor Alford, councillor Ellis and councillor Hubbard.
Okay, perfect.
Right.
Councillor Griffin?
I note that in the effectively the last one, the email at the top from Tracy, suggesting that it's included in the agenda for the finance meeting on the 10th of March.
That was if we weren't having a working group.
Right, okay, thank you.
Tracy was saying to do that instead of having a working group.
Yeah.
What I personally would like to see is us to have a working group because we need that.
The only thing I would say is, do we need to consider which committee working group would report back to?
Yeah, we'd come back to economic development. Yeah. because that's essentially what SIL would be used for. So would we be able to liaise with Teresa and find a mutually acceptable date that we can get a first working group meeting in? I'm hoping Mark's going to nod at me on screen in front of me to say thank you. Cheers, Mark. So yeah, thank you very much, guys, for that. Appreciate it.
Can I just jump in there? I missed the public participation bit.
Let me suspend a sec. Suspend standing orders. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, hang on a second, Mark. We're going to put you up on the screen.
Oh, okay.
Go for it.
Oh my God, glorious Technicolor. You've stolen my thunder. You've already agreed to do what I was going to suggest, which was to liaise with Teresa and the parish council and try and get something moving on this. So I would just like to thank you on my own behalf and on behalf of the parish council, and hopefully we can move forward with this.
Fabulous. Thanks, Mark. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
See you later.
Bye.
Right. Moving on to item 10, which is the Wiltshire Speed Survey results. So this is to note. How did we noted? Noted? That's all we had to do with it, wasn't it, Andrew?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't even remember us putting in a response, but
No, I'm not. I don't remember either. I mean, it does seem to be more kind of parish led, a lot of it.
but they sent me the email with the response with the results, so I put it on right to note.
There we go.
Fair enough.
Noted.
Thank you.
Item 11, so this is the local highways and footpath improvement group issues. So the round one speed limit assessment. Councillor Orford, this was your baby, so
Yeah, thanks.
go ahead.
So as you know, there's a big pot of 106 money attached to George Hall Gardens or community development, and that money is to use for managing the traffic impacts on Dunch Lane. Been doing some surveys. Lots of residents came back and said, well, you know, because we talked about various options, a 20-mile-an-hour limit across that area was something that the majority of residents. Everyone who knows it, and I'm sure all of you do, know full well if you get it, you certainly can't go around round ponds any greater than 20 anyway, so it definitely meets it in that respect. But of course, what people tend to do, and although residents aren't driving beyond 23, 24, which is appropriate there, what's happening is a lot of the delivery drivers, and of course we're seeing ever more numbers of delivery drivers, but they tend to shoot through at 30 because they don't appreciate the full restriction, so they go slow around round ponds, and then they speed up on Southbrook and Addison Road. So it's about helping to manage that, as well as, of course, Dunch Lane. But the whole thing will be funded by that pot. The last LHV approved the speed investigation. So Martin Rosen's team gone out, they've done all the speed surveys. The reports come back, which I don't know if that's it. The reports come back and it supports or is compliant with the policy to support the 20-mile-an-hour limit. So really, they're just looking for us to sign that off on the 6th of February, and then it can go through the process, be advertised. I know the report's already prepared, and then hopefully that could be implemented early May.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, I found the report absolutely fascinating. Maybe that's how sad my life is now, that I find things like that really interesting. And obviously for me, like you, Phil, I've had numerous conversations because we share, obviously, that area in our ward, and have received lots of comments. We've obviously had residents who've had issues as well, and Dunch Lane is particularly bad as a cut for it. And obviously we have the issues with Network Rail and the bank and everything else. So also it's even more, I think, crucial because potentially with some of the planning applications with the planning application for Upside, that is also going to bring some relevance to that as well. So I would like to, Phil, if you're going to propose we take this to HFIG, I would like to second it, and I hope we'll find the rest of my co-councillors in support of. Yeah. All in favour then? Thank you.
Hey, Pat. Looking forward to seeing you on Thursday.
One of my favourite places in Melksham.
What, LHV?
No. Yeah, I used to spend a lot of time there.
Okay.
I
Right.
spend a lot of time.
Item 12, neighbourhood plan.
Not much to say that wasn't already said in full council. Obviously steering group meeting tomorrow. I've sent out today the agenda for the special meeting next Monday. You've got the Wiltshire Council comments attached. There's a link to the other comments on their website. And then separately I emailed out later on today the document that Place had prepared. Obviously that may, as I said, the wording was going to change, but the spirit of it will be, hopefully will be that. So as soon as I've got a final document, then I'll send that out. But that's probably not going to be until after the meeting tomorrow. So
Thank you.
that's it, really.
Okay, anybody else anything to add? Pat,
I'll be there.
you'll be there, good.
Yeah, so will I.
Oh, I'll look forward to seeing you.
Oh, that'd be nice. Like a little date, like. Thank you. So item 13 now. So this is some temporary road closure notifications. So 13.1, which is on the A3102. These all just to note. Presuming everybody's had a look. 13.2. So this is footpath 22, part of it. Again, to note. Happy with that to note? There's a nice little diagram for you. Right, so going on to item 14 then. So this is the notification of the Strategic Planning Committee. Noted. Any questions, comments? No, okay.
Just that when it was called in, I think it was the right decision, obviously. And I mean, it's allocated land, we know, but of course they're complying with the old core strategy. So they only want to spend 30% affordable. So Nick called that one in and it's got them to agree. Well, as I understand it, the committee agreed on the proviso you get 40%, which is compliant with the new local plan. I hope we have adopted later in the year. So that's a significant number of additional affordable units. But the parish were quite keen on there being more 1 bed and 2 bed units on site as well. So all in all, I think it's sensible. Well, I say sensible, but we've got a better outcome for it being called in. So it's a good decision.
Thank you. That's great. Thank you very much. Item 15, so parish steward. I've got one which isn't necessarily parish steward, but it's a little bit of a challenge for you.
Okay.
Project, thanks to Charlie. So at Riverside, so I know, and this is where this gets very complicated because the playground at Riverside is ours. The grass around it, where there are some football posts. So this is in Northwood, this is off of Lane, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, Riverside Lane.
So when you look at the river, you'll see there's a big patch of green. We have the playground within it fenced off. The rest of it is Wiltshire County Council. And there are two football goalposts or one. There certainly is at least one goalpost, which they're in pretty poor condition.
Okay.
Charlie just had some kids' feedback. They would really like to be able to play football there.
Okay.
But I know it's Wiltshire because when we've had issues with grass cutting before, it's them we've had to go to. So just want to find out how do we go about having this conversation and trying to do something with this. Is it something we can do and need to get permission from Wiltshire, or will Wiltshire do? So how?
So what are we asking for it to be cut?
So the goalposts are dilapidated.
You want to replace the goalpost and have it cut more
Pretty
frequently?
much, yeah.
Well, the cutting hasn't been an issue recently. They've been better at cutting. I think since remember a couple of years ago, I raised about the cutting on the grass there, and that seems to have got better. But this young boy said to Charlie about the goalposts.
It was a request from one of your young residents, so.
They regularly rot quite quickly, don't they?
So it's just how do we go about?
Would that be LHV?
Yeah, it will be.
Well, I don't know because it's not.
highway, is it?
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm just find out. I don't honestly know who would be responsible for the goalposts because they've probably been there since a year dot. Nobody.
I've talked to planning.
We're prepared to pay for the goalposts, I'm assuming. So
I would assume so, so would you not?
we get that sorted out.
It's Wiltshire.
It is Wiltshire.
Yeah, so I said to you the other day. So the playground is ours.
Yeah.
Everything around the playground is
Wiltshire
Wiltshire.
Council.
Yeah, I'm sure we can get that sorted out.
Yes, we'll just find out if we can we install
Okay, I'll
Do you
talk.
want to replace the goalpost?
Yeah, they're
Yeah. All right, catch up with you again.
Okay.
Yeah. Catch one. Do I have any more parish steward jobs, Jenny?
So this is around the Crays area. All
What?
of the
Craze,
Crays.
Ronnie Reggie.
It's a
Is that what it
street name.
It's with a C,
It's with a C, not a K.
I honestly do not know street names. Ah,
Pavement around there, it's got just debris all over it, but it's a lot of elderly residents live along that side of that area, and a few have mentioned to me that it's actually it's starting to become really quite a trip hazard around there. Both the Crays and the bit and St Andrews, which is the one
Yes.
that runs straight along it, and then the
Yeah.
Crays is the circular bit that goes round.
oh, okay.
The other one is the bus shelter opposite McDonald's, which is a Melksham Town Council bus shelter. Looks horrendous.
We should encourage McDonald's to send somebody over there to do
No,
that because.
it's not rubbish. It is
Oh.
graffiti,
No,
road
thank
dirt.
you.
It's just horrible. It's honestly, it's at the point where it should just be taken down, quite frankly, because it is that bad. It's awful.
Okay. That's ours, did you say?
Yeah, it's ours. I mean, I don't know if it's even, it might be beyond saving. I've noticed like big piece of the perspex has gone at the front of it, and yeah, it's just
Okay,
really
I
choppy.
will talk to Dave on that.
Thank you. Any others?
Not there, they can't graffiti it. can they?
Well, yeah. Again, I'll just comment again, the parish steward seems to be really proactive. There seems to be a lot going on. Generally seem around a lot now compared to before. So that's really good. So it's ever thanks to Wiltshire for getting stuff done like that. If there's no more bits, then we're
I know we don't have an AOB, but can I just raise something really quickly? Right, so you know land at Upside, I've
Yeah.
been chatting to the developers, I don't know if you can put, have you got access to the planning portal on that? You have got access to it, can you?
Yeah.
Only because I want to show you, they've got some, they've just updated the website with some new pictures. I've got to put a loop in at the end of the
well done. Yeah.
Dunwich Lane, which I'm quite pleased with that, because if you've got a young family and you want to go out for just
Actually,
half an hour.
That's what's been back
just
as well,
go through the agenda.
Same with dogs.
They are, yeah, boys and dogs. Food and running. But at the,
Let's speak
I
to
don't suppose you can remember what the
No, if we go, I tell you what, go, hang on.
council,
Easiest way, we only looked at it last time, didn't we?
Oh, that's true. We did, didn't we? Yeah.
So if we go to
Did we do
materials. Go to down. Go to agendas. So it would have been.
yeah, that's right, because I was at full. I was-
Where's,
That
I
one?
can't see.
yeah,
I'm trying to just put my glasses on, which is really not.
You don't.
Yeah, I think you better, because I can't see.
You should have said it to him in the first place.
Women like big cards.
Do you want the number?
Oh, it's that one.
Sorry, got it here, Andrew.
Yeah. So if you look at, I think if you go to documents then. And then if you push documents at the top, you can get them to select it by age. So it gives you the newest ones at the top. There you go. So you can kind of, it's layout and context, yeah. There you go. So you can see, I'll just. Itself. So before, it was just that park, which is a great park, because we love it to use that as public open space if it comes forward, if it happens. Not just for its residents, but also for all these.
Yeah.
But what I've got to do is put that loop in. So if you've got, it's like, well, you may or may not, I don't know, but if you run around with dog or kids and you walk along there, which is wonderful public open space, you get to loop at the end.
I love that.
Well,
Well,
it's
it's
not
not
having
actually
an
experience
experience.
well done.
You know what I mean?
I know what you mean, yeah.
You just like,
And it's that, do we have to go the same way? No, we don't, we can loop it.
Yeah, very good, very good.
But these houses access that without having to go all the way around the outside. Is there a little access point?
Yeah, there'll be an access point there. So if you're open there, you can go there. If you live down here, you come across it. But it opens up all that public open space. And you can see down here, they've got a few attenuation points.
Yeah.
But that's going to be literally a park really quite sizable.
Yeah, it's nice.
Public
Yeah, it's
open
nice.
space, but literally in the middle of like,
Got to say, as a developer, they are quite refreshing, those views to
Yeah, I like them.
sustainability
I
and
really like them.
ecological outlook and stuff. I mean, it's funny because, as you know, I know somebody behind further back. than this,
Yeah.
And the reason why they employed Tammy to do this is because that is their real kind of focus, is on these kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
So
it.
It's cool, that's good.
I'd love to see it come forward as a development and actually.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It'd be great for the areas, so
Yeah.
for the area. Yeah, really exciting. Brilliant. In that case then, it's a wrap.
Cool.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.